When was the last time you didn't have to worry about money? For most of us, that time in our life hasn't happened yet. And unfortunately, most likely never will. And for some, they never had to worry about money ever. Can you only imagine? Lucky fucks. Well, today in this video, we're going to talk about money. Or more so, the lack of it. And if you personally feel like you relate to anything discussed in today's video, or you simply like videos discussing topics just like this, feel free to like, comment your thoughts, opinions below, and subscribe to see my daily uploads around here discussing topics just like this. And I do want to start this video off by giving a huge shout out to my supporters of the channel, my channel memberships, my Patreon supporters, and everybody who just rocks with the content. And a more than genuine shout out to everybody who's been sending a couple donations down in the links below in the description. I'll throw a couple of the heavy hitters up here on the screen, and those go a really long way right now, being that I am struggling lately, just like the majority of people we talk about in these videos, and a lot of people who watch these as well. So, what are we waiting for? Let's begin.
It is the people that pay you the least who will always be the ones that demand the most. And this is because if they have less money to spend, that money means more to them and they want to get more out of their investment.
Okay.
Even if to you, it's a very small investment. Or they outright just do not value your work or your time.
Think about that, guys. When you are applying for a job, you are just an investment to the company. You're not going to the interview so they can scout out who deserves this money the most. No. Well, they kind of are, but it's not really about who you are, what you need the money for, what you're spending the money on. If you have a dying relative who needs those cancer treatments, or if you just need to pay the bills, or you're just thriving and want an extra buck, it's not about that. It's about how much of production and energy and resources are they going to get out of your time and you being there. You are just an investment to the company, guys. Kind of sad when you put it that way, but it's really not family friendly when it comes to all these corporations as much as they really want to make it feel like in the workplace.
Or you as a human. They don't have any problem putting big demands on the small investment they're making in you. So the next time you're tempted to say yes and be a people pleaser or do someone a favor when the rate they're offering to pay you does not feel good, remember that there's no reason to do this because that person does not value you.
Also, when you are working a job, the majority of the time, most jobs you probably have ever worked for, if you can probably relate to this, I can only imagine the majority of you guys watching this, the tasks you applied for, you're going to be doing way more than those said specific tasks throughout the time you're working there because, that's just how it goes. And the negotiation you have for your raise and your pay and how much you do really isn't on your side. It's not really a even negotiation. It's more of they agree or they fire you and you deal with it or you find a better job. So it's like you can get better management, you can necessarily like your employer and have a friendly relationship with your boss, but at the end of the day, they're not really your friend. And if they have to fire you, trust me, they will to save their ass and keep their paychecks coming in because their family first and themselves first over you. And it really has come down to that. I've seen many relationships get ruined because of just work orderly tasks having to be sought after.
Reminder, we don't need to go above and beyond today because if you die, you'll be replaced by the end of the month.
Facts.
Am I tripping or does everybody have a second job? Everybody got something on the side to give them
A second, a third, and a couple different side hustles. And then you're trying to get your kids in that too before they're even, I wouldn't be surprised if teenagers have to pitch in for the rent these days. It's just getting dire situations out here, folks. It's absurd.
extra money. If it's extra job, extra hobby, or just something, everybody doing it. Well, most people I know, hell, almost every TikToker I know that's not like super big is still working a 9 to 5. I'd be like, damn, ain't you making $8,000-$10,000 from this? No, they still working a regular job too. And you know what?
Yeah, they made probably $8,000-$10,000 through the course of the time they made off of TikTok. People don't really understand how much you get paid for a million views. Even on YouTube, it is a few $1,000s, but it's not anywhere near the millions of bajillions dollars that really comes with it. That really comes from the sponsorships. That really comes from the different brand deals, all these different, things like the merch and stuff you actually get to make the money off of. The views, I mean, it's great for publicity and brand naming and getting yourself out there. I would love to get a bazillion views on YouTube, and I would definitely make a few bucks off it, but I would not get as much money as if I sold a million pieces of clothing, or if I worked with a sponsorship that would pay me like $20,000 for an ad read or something. Now, not everybody gets paid $20,000. It's definitely hit or miss, and you can definitely negotiate that a lot better than you can negotiate your boss for a raise. So these people are on definitely a much higher scale of what they can earn for their living. But at the same time, I definitely think all these videos, if I've earned $10,000 a month, you see when you're scrolling through your feed, those are hit or miss. It's like a needle in a haystack for those types of people. Let's be really honest out here.
economy, I ain't mad at them. You might need to do that. Hell, with everybody getting laid off, it might be the best thing to do. One of my homies, he work a 9 to 5. He work an overnight job part-time. And he do TikTok. I be like, damn, bro, do you ever sleep? Like, remember the times when we can just go and just work at the post office and raise a full family, go get a house, get a pension, retirement plan, everything? Not today. These days, you go to the post office, work your 9 to 5, get off, get to your next job, work that for a few hours, and then you might be able to afford a 1-bedroom apartment.
Gonna go work the same job I did when I was 17. The only difference is it's been 4 years. I have a degree in economics. I speak 2 more languages. I have years more experience and I can't find a job.
That's why they
Isn't
want
that
you
crazy, folks? It does not matter how many degrees you have. It doesn't matter your experience level. It doesn't matter your past history. Everybody's just resorting to TikTok and YouTube to pay their bills. And the people that do or have been doing YouTube and TikTok for quite some time, they're resorting back to the 9 to 5 job. Because really, nobody can survive without we're with just one. They need either or both. It's really insane out here, guys. The wealth is dispersed and totally unevenly, and a small percentage have most, while the majority have very, very few, if any. And now let's hear about this woman talk about how the 40-hour work week, excuse me, is a scam. And majority of people are working way more than 40 hours a week. So I think we should really change what we tell people the average is, because can most people even afford living on 40 hours a week in their current job position? Or please let me know down below in the comments if you guys can afford to do that.
work all fucking day every day, because they know you working every day. First of all, they know that if you got to drive to go to your job, most likely you're gonna stop and get some on the way. They know you're gonna spend some kind of
Junk
money
food,
along
fast
the way.
food.
And then if you working 40 hours or more, 2-3 jobs, right, just to make
4 or
it,
5.
they know that you're gonna be so tired when you get home that you're going to get the fast food. You're going to get the easiest, most convenient option, because you don't want to spend an hour, 2 hour cooking. They know you're not gonna do that.
Oh, and then you're gonna see somebody in the comments saying you should just meal prep on the weekends. Oh, I just do this and saves me so much time and so much money. Guys, schedules don't always work every single week. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes you want to take a weekend off, and then once you get behind, it's just a snowball effect, and it just goes downhill from there. So I'm not saying any of you guys are wrong in that aspect, and definitely the best way to get ahead in life is to be disciplined and do what you got to do despite your feelings about it. But guys, sometimes the feelings take over, and if you're never really putting yourself first, what's the point of putting anything into anything at all?
They know you're not. They know me and you not gonna do that. So if they keep us working, and they keep us working, and they keep us, that's why a lot of companies didn't want motherfuckers to go back to the wanted people to come back in the office. Y'all remember, like after like a year or so of the COVID, everybody got comfortable staying at home. They was saving money on gas. They ain't have to buy dumbass outfits and suits.
Yeah, you saw those memes of people just wearing suits up top and have their underwear and socks down below, just having like the home suit method. But at the same time, it is pretty bizarre. It did kind of really go to show. I do want to put this into somewhat of a perspective where when everybody was comfortable living at home and everybody was getting paid the same, if anything more, with the benefits we were getting from the COVID pay and stuff, it's pretty insane to think about how maybe managers and some of these people in some of these higher up positions, they're not so needed at the end of the day. I mean, if you ever worked at like a retail job or like a fast food job, the managers almost do the least amount of the work. Now, not everywhere. Fast food jobs might be different, but at my retail store jobs, the managers do the least amount of the work. They're doing the emotional stuff like firing people, hiring people, organizing stuff, but it's the grunt, like lowest tier person that does the majority of the work, or like the hard labor, like cleaning the poop out of the toilet stalls, or changing the fryer out of the grease bin out back, and taking all the dumps out when everything has to be organized. It's insane to think that when the whole power goes out, who's actually going to be emptying out the entire freezer after it goes out in like 12 hours? Me. I did that. It took me about 5 hours. And did I get overtime pay? No, because some of these stores don't even do overtime pay. It's insane to think about that. But let's continue.
They was eating at home, everything, right? But the motherfucking corporations And they were mad because the work was still getting done properly. The motherfuckers, there wasn't need for no micromanaging ass managers. The work was still getting
They might not be
done,
needed,
but
guys.
they wanted people to come back to the office because they want to micromanage motherfuckers, and they need you to spend money
Have you
because
guys
those
ever seen that episode or that movie of Bug's Life where the ant was like, we need these other insects to know we are in power so we can control them. Well, maybe realize that if people are comfortable, people can actually maintain. People are mature enough. We're talking about adults here who work the majority of these jobs, I think, in the majority of these occupations. They can control themselves. They can work together. I mean, there's going to be some different disputes, but we're all adults here, right? We can figure it out without, going to play tattletale manager. How many times have you been in a job where a 34-year-old goes and tattletales on you to your 20-some-year-old manager that's younger than them? It's people treat this like middle school. It's insane.
companies lost a lot of money because motherfuckers wasn't out there buying gas like that. Motherfuckers wasn't out there buying fast
We ain't
food.
buying nothing because we ain't got money to buy nothing. And that lady was spinning a lot of facts. I've seen a couple of her different videos on TikTok, and we'll probably cover a few more of her videos, discuss them, react to them in the near future because she seems to be spinning a lot of truth. And a lot of people can relate to these types of things. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions regarding all these topics down below in the comments. I do want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's been supporting the channel. My channel memberships, I've been seeing we've gained a few more of those over here. My Patreon supporters, that's a great way to support the channel. You can see a bunch of behind the scenes stuff with me, my life, and my content creation journey, and as well as so you can speak to me personally through my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And then as well as the few people who have been checking out some of those donation links down in the bio, that has been a huge way to help me thrive and survive around here these days, as well as just support the channel so I can continue doing this for everybody around here. I'm going to continue doing this no matter what, whether I get paid or not. But it is so nice to know I have support that I have support for people that like to go above and beyond all that way. So a huge shout out to all of you guys. And now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.